Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of G9ija TV, the NewsScope. Today we have a number of stories to actually talk about. My name is Olatunde and we are on the go. Now, one of the first stories I just want to talk about has to do with a crime, which has to do with a man. The story basically says the man flees after stabbing cousin to death in Lagos. I don't know why most of the time we have all these issues. The first thing is that I notice in Lagos, especially, not that it doesn't happen in other areas of the country, across Nigeria, but Lagos is like has the highest number, or should I say, the highest percentage of people being stabbed constantly, you know, and then you begin to wonder, is there any particular reason, this has to be the case, it shouldn't really be like that. But then let me just quickly share this out to you. Right. So the story goes an argument between two relatives turned tragic in Lagos on Monday as one of them fatally stabbed his cousin during a physical confrontation. Lagos State Police Command confirmed the incident to Punch Metro in a test statement issued by the public relations officer Benjamin Ndui, noting that the suspect was at large. Um, the altercation occurred around 7 a.m. when Ganiyu allegedly engaged in a heated argument with his cousin, Hafiz, that escalated into violence. As a result, Ganiyu broke a bottle, stabbed Hafiz on the left side of his chest. The victim was rushed to a hospital where he was confirmed dead by the doctor on duty. A team of detectives was immediately mobilized to the scene. Photographs were taken, the police spokesman said. The suspect is at large, investigation is ongoing, and efforts are being made to apprehend the fleeing suspect, the PPRO added. Earlier in October, the command detained the 12-year-old who allegedly stabbed his 68-year-old father to death in Lagos. Ondoin confirmed to the news agency of Nigeria on October 4, 2024, that the incident happened around 10 p.m. in the Solo area of Lagos. And they said the suspect's brother reported the incident to Aswani Police Divisional Station. I just don't know why everything has to be settled by violence. It's almost like any look. It apparently this thing actually started with just an argument. Why does it have to be? I'm just looking at some of the comments. Somebody said disturbing menace continues. Exactly. This person said, what might be causing such unusual level of anger that is leading to increasing stabbing incidents? You know, um, somebody said, why stab somebody to death like that? I don't know where they actually get that from. So it's some, I don't know whether it's the pressure or the economic fallout, that is actually causing this. But this thing has always been, and like I said, especially in Lagos, any little thing, party, home, people could just be sitting down. I don't know what kind of spirit just comes on the people. You ask somebody a question, the next thing is like, what for? Before you can say Jack Robinson, they've stabbed the person. So I think this is something that the government, well, needs to actually look into. Why is it that we have so much high level of violence? Seriously, I'm not saying we don't have violence in other parts of the world. We do have. But in Nigeria, ours is exceptional, especially in Lagos State. So moving swiftly on, the next story we've got is about um, the Yoruba Nation petition that was submitted to the British High Commissioner, to number 10. So it says British High Commissioner issues statements on Yoruba Nation petition. We said that some few days ago, I think on Sunday, there was a protest, by representation of Oduduwa Nation. Mr. Sunday Igboho apparently was in the UK, and he made a petition, and there were a number of things I said, which is, I said, for me personally, I'm a nationalist, but I do understand why he has said, taking the part he has taken. But I felt that, if we are actually going to, if this sort of thing is going to happen, I think we need to explore possibilities of addressing issues that we have as a federation before we actually take on this. And at the same time, I actually felt that there should be a petition, or well, there should be like a referendum. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, to have a referendum among all the Yoruba states to see if there's a common consensus. So because I just feel this is a sort of unilateral decision. And like I said, I know why he's actually done what he has done, but we need to explore the solution first before going down this route. That is my only take on this. So anyway, back to what the British High Commissioner issued the statement on. I think there were sort of information emanating after that the British government has endorsed, you know, the uh, the petition, which means that they've given support, and they've come out to actually say that's not what really happened. So it says Richard Montgomery, the CMG, the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in Abuja, acknowledged the 15th October 2024 statement issued by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs regarding the press coverage on a Yoruba Nation petition handed to number 10 Downing Street by a Nigerian national, Sunday Adeyemo. The High Commissioner was pleased to discuss this issue with Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs on 14th October 2024. He noted the Honorable Minister's concern and understood that press reports were misleading. The High Commissioner reassured the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs that the petition was in no way endorsed by any official body of the UK government or the UK Parliamentary Petitions Committee. The delivery merely reflected an established practice of allowing the delivery of a letter and petitions to number 10. The High Commissioner noted that any petition concerning the sovereign affairs of another country are not a matter for the UK government. The High Commissioner underscored that this is a matter for the government and legislature of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and noted that similar petitions have been rejected by the UK Parliamentary Petitions Committee and the UK government in the past. So the UK Commissioner agreed to continue liaising with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as needed. The High Commissioner reiterated the importance of the bilateral partnership between the United Kingdom and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He noted the bilateral progress on a range of issues with the present administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and particularly new agreements on enhanced trade and investment, security and defense, and home affairs. He renewed his assurance of highest regards for the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this is one of the key things that we're actually looking at, and we actually felt that they've actually set the record straight. So, and they've said this issue of secession should be the prerogative of the Nigerian government. They are merely just being courteous, basically, to receive the petition. They've not endorsed anything. They don't have the right to do that. So, and they are saying that essentially what they just said is that sort this out among yourselves. Simple. So, and this actually goes back to what I said earlier. If there's going to be anything like this, steps should be taken, in good faith, because quite frankly, what really took place that made Sunday go to actually take this step was merely the fact that there was just so much happening. There was a lot of things that happened under the former President Buhari that was absolutely not, was in no way fair at all. I actually blame the former president for allowing this to actually get to this level, because there were certain things, that they need to understand that Nigeria is a federation. So that means that we are. So it's more of we are not strange bedfellows, So we are all in this project Nigeria together. So that needs to be respected. But I think the way they've gone about it is, there was a lot of misunderstanding, and there was a lot of things, their concern was not being, shall I say, their concern was not being followed up. So it was almost as if, they were giving advantage to a particular part of the region, of the federation. So, and that sort of showed, this sort of reflects as if, some parts of the country were not really equal partners. So unfortunately, even in some of like the security setup at that time, the I think the Security Council at that time, we had the same thing, where there was no proportional representation, even though the argument was like, oh, the best of the best. The best of Nigeria cannot just come from one region. It has to be spread across. You've seen some of the things that the former president Obasanjo did. He actually constituted his cabinet in such a way that everything, whether it's security, social welfare, foreign services, everything, Nigeria across the country was well represented. That is what we expect for any government to do. So we will actually be keeping abreast the information coming out, from this, from this attempt, really. So that is Mr. Ibo, and let's see what some of the people have been saying. It says, somebody said, I don't know what they expect a diplomat to say. Then somebody said, nonsense. This is how you don't listen when an agitator is trying to follow due process. If you listen, if you listen his step as Kano did you call him? Nah, okay, let's forget about that. So I think I've got something else. Somebody said Elias and his people are jokers. If you want protest, submit petition. Come and do it in Nigeria, not far away, UK. Somebody says it's just obvious Igboho and the schools are just catching crews. If not for inferiority problem, what did they expect the UK government to do? To compel the federal government to secede them from Nigeria? Nah, this aren't done that way. There are different ways a country can secede. One, consensual secession. This is a mutual agreement between the country and the seceded one. Two, unilateral secession, one-sided decision. Three, secession through conflict. There's never been in history of any country that has successfully seceded by mere submission of a secession petitions as the highest stage. Secession that is not done through conflict or war outbreaks like the Bangladeshi Pakistan in 1997 is done by referendum. Oh, that's what I said. The referendum, like Norway, Sweden in 1905. If truly they want secession, just like the UK government was, as rightly said, they should approach their own country for it. Maybe they should grant them referendum for that. UK has no power to secede a country from another. That's the height of ignorance. I see it as more as clownish and lack substance. Like I said, I understand what he's done, what he's did, but this person has, let's remove all the insults, and just stick to, because I believe that when we insult each other, we can't really see clearly. Okay. Now, there's no nation that wants to say that any nation will just allow to go like that. Do you understand? We need to get this sorted out. And I believe that we're stronger together. That has been my own take on in all of this. Whenever we have this sort of thing, we need to go through the due process. We have to make it work. That is just what I believe. I believe that now the South has not been treated as and the Southeast have not been treated as equal partners in the project Nigeria. I don't think so. And it's obvious to everyone, except we just want to lie to ourselves. So really, if they really wanted to do this, that was why I said that some parts of this the Southwest, or should I just say the Yoruba nation, can't just say, okay, we are going to succeed. What about, have you asked the other people? Have you spoken to people in I know he actually went round, mind you, because he actually went on a tour. I remember after the incident during President Buhari's time, went to Kitty, went to, I think, well, number of Yoruba state, but they should ask for a referendum. That referendum is what will give, if that works, he's able to make a case, convince other people, then it's then imperative that we need to actually, then everybody will fall in line. Then efforts will be made, okay, representation made to the federal government that to say, look, this is it, we want to leave, and this is the reason we want to leave, that sort of thing. But for us to say that we want to go through some other way, I don't think it definitely it's not going to work. I mean, for instance, the British government that you are coming to meet, to give them petition, if you look at it, Have you forgotten that when they say United Kingdom, it means that four kingdoms that actually made up the United Kingdom. Wales, Ireland, Scotland, England. Those are the four. Those are the four nations that came together, to form this nation itself. I think hence that's the reason why they say four. Should I say? No, don't let me even say that. But anyway, those are the things that actually formed the nation that that you have the entity United Kingdom. And Scotland has been looking to actually lead, but they've followed due process. Their party, I think they've had about two referendums now, and it has failed. So that is inclusive. If not, if you just succeed and just say that, say whatever reason this thing succeeded, what makes you think some other part of the Yoruba that is now said to constitute Oduduwa will want to actually follow suit? I said, I'm sorry. Ondoku say, well, we're not interested in following Oduduwa. So what would you do? You understand? It's a bit like Sudan, South Sudan, Northern Sudan. That was what happened. When the Southern Sudan, which are predominantly, African descent, then you have the Northern Sudan that are predominantly Arabs. But when when Southern Sudan seceded, the first thing that happened was there was a civil war. There was so the very same thing, the issue they had as under the whole entity of Sudan was now playing out within unit. That is one of the reasons why I don't believe in secession. That's why I don't believe in it, because if you don't deal with the underlying issue within the larger federation, you're still going to have the same issue, even if you break away. I said it about in terms of Biafra. If Biafra, say for instance, they happens to be successful and break away from Nigeria, there I can assure you that others will soon come. Before you know it, you might have Northern Biafra, Southern Biafra. You always have that. You will have that. So pretty much the same thing. Northern Sudan, where it's predominantly of the Arabs. Right now, they actually, engaged in a civil war within them as well. You see, same thing is still taking place. So except you take note of those things, so the sincerity, efforts must be made, concerted efforts must be made to make things work. If not, people are just chasing clouds. So moving swiftly on this one. So the next story we've got is, now this one is about this is part of our culture war. When I say culture war, the culture war that I'm actually talking about, let me share this. I believe that there are women. It's a great thing to be a mom, to be a mother. And the worst thing that some women actually did, or some mothers actually did, it to treat their toddlers, their babies, as if they are a doll. Okay, let's look at this story. It said outrage as Gen Z mother installed frontal hair on 1-year-old baby. So it says in a video causing a stir online, a Gen Z mother was seen taking her 1-year-old baby girl to a salon for an adult-style frontal hair installation. The footage shows the little girl visibly uncomfortable during the process, at one point crying and eventually falling asleep while the hairstylist continued fixing the hair. Netizens were not amused by the situation, with many criticizing the mother for subjecting our child to discomfort. One commentator expressed, "Truth be told, please let kids be kids. There are beautiful hairstyles for them. Must you install a frontal? A child of this age, even as an adult, we know how uncomfortable frontals can be, not to talk of a kid." Another person shared similar sentiment, saying, "But this is very wrong as a parent to subject your little child to such discomfort. There is time for everything. Allow this baby to be the little baby that she is." I don't understand some parents, despite the majority of negative reaction. A few people were in support of the style. One netizen praising very neat and beautiful. This viral incident has sparked a larger conversation about appropriate styling choices for children and the pressure some parents may feel to keep up with the trend, even at the expense of their child's comfort. One of the key things I found out about this is that I have seen so much videos that you know when little girls say, when I say little girls, I'm talking of, like, in fact, anyone that from baby right up onto maybe before they are teenagers. Let's just put it that way. And they are dressed up in sensual clothes that adults that will wear that sort of sexualize children. We know that there is this issue of pedophilia around. And then now we actually see that. I mean, if you look at, okay, there's the video we're going to watch now. It will tell you that no matter how much style or how beautiful they say this thing is supposed to be, you can see that it's kind of not appropriate for that child. Imagine, taking a baby, or a toddler that is maybe like 3 years old, putting high heels on her leg, putting on, mini skirts for a child. It can't just be right. I'm sorry, but it's madness. It's actually it's just madness. Let's take a look at this video.
Welcome to G9ija. A video sparking outrage online shows a Gen Z mother taking her 1-year-old baby girl to a salon for a frontal hair installation, normally reserved for adults. The baby looked visibly uncomfortable, even crying and eventually falling asleep as the stylist continued. Netizens didn't hold back, with many saying, "Let kids be kids," and criticizing the mom for causing unnecessary discomfort. However, a few praised the look as neat and beautiful. So, what do you think? Stylish or unnecessary? Watch the video and let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more trending gist.
So you can actually just see that this is just not right. It's just not right at all. It's just not right. It's just not right. There's no reason whatsoever. No reason for it. They don't even know what they are doing to these kids. There is just no need. I mean, look at that. I'm sorry. It's a baby. This is sexualizing a child. This should be a crime. This should be a crime. It's not. And I think one of our programs, we're going to bring people in. Like we need to bring some others. Maybe we'll find out for those that support this kind of thing and those against them. I think we can then have a decent conversation around this. So the next story that we've got is about the security situation in the country. What we are talking about is the other day we actually had one of our staff that actually traveled in Nigeria to Ekiti State, and he wanted to travel in the night. I'm like, are you for real? Well, let's look at this story. So, I mean, this is just unbelievable. People make it out as if actually is just traveling in the night in the name of, I don't know, maybe it was supposed to be cheaper, and I don't think that was really right. Let's look at this next story. So he said night traveling and kidnapping. I've said on this platform several times that the security services should under the guidelines of the federal of the appropriate security section of the country, that they should put like a guideline in place. How should Nigerians protect themselves? What are the things they can do to sort of reduce this risk on themselves, or to sort of how would they sort of safeguard themselves? Let's just put that in short. So it says night travels along Nigerian expressways should be considered an extreme sport. In case anyone is not aware, extreme sport is just all those kind of crazy stuff, like people jumping from a very high building, skyscraper, where those that wear all those suits that makes you fly like a bird across mountains. You drop down from a very great height, maybe an helicopter or something. Then you are gliding among mountains, maybe somewhere in the Himalayas and all. So those are extreme sports. So what they're saying is that if you are traveling in the night in Nigeria, it's akin to that you are playing Russian roulette. In short, you are playing Ludo with your life. So it's 3:16 a.m. Tuesday morning, and we are stuck along Benin Shagamu Expressway as information reaching us says there's an ongoing operation a few kilometers down the road. Not an operation by medical doctors, rather an operation by men of the underworld. We have been stuck here by the military checkpoint of Odogbolu Road for over 30 minutes, waiting for any incoming vehicle to confirm the situation ahead before we proceed. We all alighted the luxurious bus while we waited. It was such a cold and misty morning with very poor visibility. There was so much mist in the air, you couldn't see further than 50 meters away. The moist silver lining of mist hovered above the thick vegetation of Nigeria, of forest that flanked both sides of the road. The air was cold, clean, and fresh. It kind of reminded me of the great healthy feeling you get when you forest bathe or take a dip in a clear village stream. I took a couple of deep breaths and filled my lungs with the unpolluted air around me. I could feel my lungs tingle with happiness, unlike the city air that makes you want to exhale immediately you took it in. I couldn't help but wonder the diverse form of wildlife that had their homes in the forests around us. The person that wrote this thing should be maybe a documentary, wildlife documentary producer. The men formed small circles to talk and kill time, and some people took a leak while we waited on incoming traffic for confirmation of situation at hand. One driver of a commuter ace bus got tired of waiting and hit the road. We had over a dozen trailers, flatbeds, and other luxurious buses parked alongside ours. The men dared each other to move on, but common sense held us back as the
It's
only
0
form of arms
hours.
we had was few machetes, which was no match for semi-automatic Kalashnikov, the the choice weapon of an average kidnapper. I think that's like AK-47. I might be wrong. It got me thinking about the security mess our country faced. It got me thinking how anyone could fall a victim. I couldn't help but wonder how it would be if we was held up by those marauders and taken to the thick embers of the dark forest. I understood instantly the grave dangers road travelers face on the daily and near impossibility of a successful search and rescue operations in such cases. The echoes of the voices of the men around me arguing for and against the fact that it was impossible for a 10-man gang of kidnappers hold us all to ransom snapped me back to reality. Another half an hour passed before the bright beam of an LED headlamp broke into our vision. We saw a convoy of 5 cars with a siren blazing coming towards our direction. It was a clear indication that the roads were free, but we needed confirmation. As the vehicles approached, we thought it was the PO or the military, but now it was an ambulance and a few other vehicles behind it. They gave us the green light to go on, and we all boarded the bus again and hit the road. This time, the driver maintained close distance with the vehicle ahead and kept a good 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. Hopefully, I get to my destination safe and sound. But in the meantime, it is onward together we go. So you can imagine, this is the risk. If anything has happened there, how would they be able to solve it? You don't know. And that's the truth. This is where that's why they said it is an extreme sport, traveling, especially in the night. It's not like the daytime is quite any better. It's even in most cases it's even worse. It's even worse. So, this is some of the challenges that are facing Nigeria, in the country. They deal with economic, situation. Then by the time you look for the money to travel, now to even do the traveling, you are what? You are having heart palpitation because you are not entirely sure how safe the road ahead is. So, God will help us. But I mean, this needs to be resolved, quite frankly. So, I think we've got the last but not the least. This is Mr. Macaroni giving some advice, essentially. Mr. Macaroni spoke about, I think, pretty much what we spoke about earlier, but now in a different way, in terms of children. There's this cultural war that is going on where, apart from sexualizing, babies to toddlers and underage children, we now have a situation as well where we have talented children being unfairly showcased. Okay, what he's saying is that he said showcase their talent. This is Mr. Macaroni. Showcase their talents in way appropriate for their respective ages. Exactly. The same thing gets for goes for their dressing. Actor Mr. Macaroni cautioned parents with uniquely gifted children. Um, Actor Mr. Macaroni has taken to social media to caution parents with uniquely talented children. In his post, Mr. Macaroni asked parents To endeavor, they showcase the talents of such children in ways that are appropriate to their respective age. He said he understands the urge to showcase gifted children, but there's a need for parents to put the children first and also groom them properly. You know, so he said, "Dear parents and guardians, I understand the urge to want to make the most of our uniquely talented children. I, however, strongly believe that we must apply caution while doing so. We must showcase their talents in a way appropriate to their respective age. We must put our children first and groom them right. That way, we are able to develop durability and longevity of their talent, as opposed to a short and viral moment. We owe them and our society that guidance." And so I think what he's saying is that there are some videos I've seen, like almost like toddlers being made to act like adults, or being made to act parts in skits, you know. And yes, I've been astounded by it, but at the same time, I've had some kind of pause to like, this child is too young to be. I'm not saying that you can't put children in movies, but there are some parts you put them in that you think is not appropriate. I don't know where we keep getting all of this, because we're getting the same thing in, parents, dressing up their child. I'm sorry to say this, but it's the moms that have actually gotten to do this, by putting those children in such a way that, it's not really a good, they are not putting them in a good place. They sort of, when you see those children acting this particular part, you feel, yes, these children are talented, but you'll be uncomfortable with the role that they're actually playing. So so you have the box. So that's it from me tonight. I just want to say thank you very much, and we're looking again to see you guys tomorrow. So hopefully, most of the stuff that we've actually come up with, they're able to create some ripples, so we're able to say, okay, well, I think we need much more than just, you don't just have a child and just start, putting lipstick on your toddler. What is that? Doesn't make sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And once again, my name is Olatunde. Thank you very much. And we're looking to see you guys again some other time. And see you tomorrow. And God bless. Good night.